So here at Bloomberg, we track literally everything, right? Everything in the markets, everything in currencies and commodities, but we also track waistlines. So Bloomberg actually has a waistline index where we look at the weight gain of folks around the world. So here's what we have been finding. The baseline, over a 20-year span, the average adult has actually gained about 10 pounds or so. That's about a third of a pound a year. So how do different countries around the world stack up? Well, not surprisingly, Americans are above the average. We talk a lot about obesity here. Michelle Obama, of course, weighed in with her big campaign. But then take a look at Mexico, Brazil, and Chile. Also amongst the countries where weight gain is more than average.
Actually, Brazil's not far behind.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you look at a different measure like body mass index or BMI, very, very similar trends. Chile also showing up in the top 3, Egypt and the Dominican Republic. So these are the numbers, but as for the why behind the numbers, the rise of fast food, of course, has been pointed to as a major culprit. So we have these fascinating numbers in Mexico. If you take a look at the rise in fast food chains, so fast food chain growth, it is actually more than 13 times GDP in that country.
Wow.
Yeah, so an enormous number here, enormous growth of these fast food chains. You know, a lot of people are saying that what you're seeing happen with fast food in these countries is very similar to what the conquistadors brought to the countries with smallpox and measles and other diseases.
Oh, no.
Except this time around, the disease is obesity and, of course, a lot of the after effects of that, whether it's heart disease or diabetes. Some major problems happening in these countries, not only with waistlines, but also rising medical costs.
New health problems that they never had before.
Exactly.
They had very little of. Okay, so is there any sign that this trend is at all going to slow down or reverse?
No, in fact, we're actually seeing the opposite, that this trend could be speeding up. You know, domestic markets for a lot of these companies have slowed down quite a bit, right? They've also become very, very saturated. So all of these companies like a McDonald's or a Yum's or a KFC, they are looking abroad for their much needed growth. So Yum, for example, gets more than 70% of its sales outside the U.S., McDonald's more than 60%. Domino's Pizza, that's actually a very popular one, actually has more international locations than domestic locations. So this is certainly a trend that is not stopping down at all. You know, Latin America, Africa now is going to be a big focus for these companies. And here's the thing. All of these countries now facing the same issues that we're facing here in the U.S. All of these companies being forced to reduce their menus and things like that. So
calorie counting.
Exactly. A trend that's here to stay.